Jayne Peters was elected to the City Council of Coppell, Texas in 1998 and then to mayor in 2009. On July 12, 2010, while she was still mayor, Jayne caused harm to herself and her 19-year-old daughter, Corinne. This leads to one question. What could have caused a seemingly happy-go-lucky 55-year-old highly regarded public servant to do something so drastic? Born in Ohio in 1955 as Jane Parsley, Jayne was a mother who was highly involved in local politics. Her husband, Donald, whom she'd married in 1989, worked as a software developer. He was the family's main source of income. Their only child, Corinne, was a normal teenager trying to navigate school and life. Corinne took ballet classes, played recreational softball, and was on the drill team in high school. In 2008, everything changed for the Peters when heartbreak struck their family. At age 58, Donald passed away from cancer that had been diagnosed earlier that year. They fought hard against the disease, but his health declined rapidly. After the loss of Donald, it wasn't just about grieving. Now Jayne had practical issues staring her in the face. Jayne found herself in a tough financial situation because her husband passed away without life insurance. The Peters were accustomed to living an upper-middle-class lifestyle, but Jayne rarely ever paid any bills herself. Jayne sometimes worked as a software contractor, but it wasn't enough to support her and Corinne. Donald was gone, and so were the luxuries. Even though there was financial pressure and a necessity for changes, Jayne was not ready mentally to lower their living standards. The family home had already been scheduled for foreclosure twice, but Jayne insisted on not moving to a less expensive home. Instead, Jayne started using the credit card issued to her by the city of Coppell for things such as groceries, clothes, and pet supplies. The city manager had been asking Jayne for receipts for months, but she kept putting him off. Since the city couldn't get answers from Jayne, they decided to open an investigation. Presumably, Jayne's pride, self-deception, desire to please Corinne, and need to protect her public image drove her to keep spending money as if everything was normal. Jayne even told a friend that she was going to take Corinne on a trip to New York as a high school graduation gift. In addition to that, Jayne knew that Corinne wanted a bright red Hyundai Sonata, so Jayne was determined to make that happen. Jayne carefully planned the car as a surprise so that she could see the joy and excitement on Corinne's face when she discovered the shiny new car parked in the driveway. To make this happen, Jayne had to make a creative financial choice. Since she could not afford to buy a car, Jayne decided to trick Corinne into thinking she got a new car. In reality, Jayne used her city-issued credit card to rent the car from a rental outlet. The tricks didn't start there, though. In early 2010, Jayne led Corinne to believe that she was helping her apply for colleges. Jayne supposedly mailed the applications herself. Jayne tricked Corinne into thinking that she had been accepted into Texas Christian University and later told her that she had also been accepted to the University of Texas. The University of Texas is highly sought out by high school seniors, and many of Corinne's friends were going to attend the university. It turned out that neither university had received an application for Corinne. Jayne realized that the truth would soon come to light, but she couldn't bring herself to shatter Corinne's dreams. Jayne was living with the weight of the deception, and she was hoping that somehow she would find a solution to fulfill Corinne's aspirations. Ultimately, Jayne couldn't see any way to do that, so her final solution was an unfortunate one. On July 8, 2010, Jayne approached Rob Frank with a request. Rob served as both the mayor of Cedar Hill, Texas, and Jayne's close friend. Jayne told Rob that she needed a weapon because she was going to take a concealed carry course. Rob did not know that Jayne was having trouble, so he agreed to loan her his weapon without asking many questions. Before the end of the day, Jayne went away with his weapon in her handbag. Jayne had promised Corinne that they would go visit the University of Texas campus before Corinne was to attend in the fall. Around 6 a.m. on July 12, 2010, neighbors saw Corinne packing up Jayne's car because they were headed for their visit. Jayne knew that she was now out of time. Corinne went to the laundry room to wash more clothes for the trip. Jayne crept up behind Corinne in the laundry room and used the weapon that she borrowed from Rob to end Corinne's life. Jayne wrapped Corinne's head with towels and then closed the door of the laundry room. At 6:15 a.m., Jayne was seen by neighbors removing all the luggage from the vehicle. Next, Jayne started tying up loose ends. She drove the Hyundai Sonata back to the car rental outlet, and someone saw her at 12:30 p.m. walking the 5 miles back to her home. This gave her time to think about what to do next. When Jayne returned home, she cleaned the house and then she headed to her computer. She printed out 3 notes. One note contained practical instructions on how to care for the family pets, and the same note also said, "O grace of God, please forgive me and have mercy on my eternal soul." My sweet, sweet Corinne had grown completely inconsolable. She had learned to hide her feelings from her friends, but the two of us were lost, alone and afraid. A second haunting note taped to the front door along with the house key said, "To our first responders, here's the key for the front door. I am so very sorry for what you're about to discover. Please forgive me. Jayne." Jayne was almost done. As she headed to the master bathroom, she grabbed some of Corinne's childhood toys and placed them next to the laundry room door. At some point, Jayne put 2 fentanyl patches on her own back. Once she was ready, she handwrote one last note and placed it on the bathroom door. It said, "DNR, do not resuscitate under any circumstances." The loss of Corinne and Jayne that day had an impact on the community that lasted a long time. How could they have helped Jayne and Corinne if they didn't know they were hurting? Share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. After you share your thoughts, please join us for another Final Betrayal by clicking on the video on your screen. We'll meet you over there.